Hello, good morning.
Ma'am,
Hi, my name is Sidra, and I'm one of the trainers from EnglishYaari. So, firstly, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. This is Kaisar here. I am from Jharkhand. By profession, I am an English language trainer.
Oh, wow,
I teach basic English as well as working on advanced English.
that's amazing. So, why did you join EnglishYaari? What are you looking from the platform?
I just want to talk to people across the globe whenever I have got opportunity.
Okay, that's amazing. All right. So, how many sessions you have taken here so far on EnglishYaari, and how was your experience?
Yeah, my experience is going really well. I have taken two of my sessions. Six of them are left.
Okay. So, have you come across any kind of loopholes by any tutor in your communication? They have suggested something while you were trying to communicate?
Yeah, actually, what I have noticed that when I talk to my students, I don't have any problem to speak with them. But whenever I have conversation senior to me, the person who is senior to me, that's where I feel that I'm not able to take my English level forward. I'm not able to use those words or sentence structures that I have learned already, like advanced sentence structure, advanced words. I'm not able to use in front of those people who are senior to me.
Okay. It's all then the matter of confidence and practice, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll start with a bit of warm up. I'll just drop a paragraph in the chat box. Uh, so if you can read
So,
that.
ma'am, actually, ma'am, actually, before we move to further discussion, may I know about your journey? How did you start? How long did you take to be proficient in English language?
Yeah, so I have completed my graduation in physics, and after that, my interest shifted towards fundamental of business and learning the fundamentals of business. So I opted for business administration, which I completed in 2021. I was since the start interested in interacting with with new people, helping them with their conversational skills. So since then, I have been interacting after completing my MBA. I've been interacting with working professionals, helping them to be confident. So it's been around 2 years that I've been interacting with people, and that's a brief overview about myself.
So, during your journey, ma'am, have you ever got insulted, rejected, humiliated?
It happens with everyone. We all have good days and bad days. So not every day is a good day. And even now as well, when I take sessions, some days I feel that I haven't presented myself with my full potential. There's a gap in potential, lag in potential. So it always is there. So some days are bad, some days are good. So that's actually a pre-existing thing, and we cannot really avoid it. So yeah, we can just try to put ourselves in a best possible manner. Rest is like, I mean, it just totally depends.
So, ma'am, there is something that is popping in my brain. I just want to ask you. It
Yeah.
is necessary or compulsory to use advanced sentence structure or advanced vocabulary in order to have conversation because in our native language when we talk to each other in order to communicate with each other we don't think of advanced words advanced sentence structures but in case of English we focus on it.
Correct. I think, according to me, it's not really necessary to use such kind of jargons or advanced vocabulary. Even if we are very comfortable, that's when it can easily and readily pop up of our mind, and we can just speak it. But when we are deliberately trying to use that, it can be visible to other people as well. And I think uh, the conversation goes really fruitful, and understandably people can think about each other if we use simple words. And that's all the situation about orators, great speakers as well, that they use very simple language. But something which is part of effective communication is that you have intonation, you have such depth, a way of communicating and presenting yourself, that people start taking interest in yourself. You modulate your voice, and you just try to add some elements that actually leave a good taste, so people get interested that way in listening to yourself. So you can just have a really great starting by adding a quote in start, or by just giving us an experience from your own life. So these are certain elements which can brought people, which can bring people's interest in your communication. So that's something I think I believe. Like, this is my perception, but yeah, if you are very well versed with advanced vocabulary, you can use that. But deliberately, if you are putting so much emphasis, like we have to use idioms or phrases certain times, and we are using it. I mean, there's an elephant in the room. So I think it looks really strange while we are talking, and it is not a general part of the language, and it can end and land us in difficult situation as well. Sometime.
So, ma'am, as far as you are concerned about a language, what does a language mean? Why do we use a language?
I mean, so as to communicate our
Yeah,
feelings, as
whatever
to
language,
communicate our
whatever
beliefs.
language you are using,
Hmm.
why do we use a language?
Yeah, so as to exchange views and communication, so as to exchange our understanding, perceptions, and perspectives. So that's how we use language, so as to share our feelings with each other. So emotional aspect should always be there. That's when we can present ourselves in our real self.
Yeah, actually, in order to understand a language, what I have understood during my journey, language is all about emotions, feelings,
Yeah.
communicating in a perfect way. Suppose that if you have a good command on advanced English, but you are surrounded by those people who know basic English, will you be comfortable with them? Not at all, because whatever you speak they are not going to understand. You may feel awkward. So what you know, this is my personal perception about a language. What you know, it doesn't matter. What you
Correct.
want people get to know, it matters.
Yeah, that's why they say that we need to push like we need to put ourselves in their shoes so that they can understand better, and that's when we can emerge out as a better explainer.
Yeah, ma'am. So there is something that I want to ask you again. Most spoken question, that how long does English take to learn? Because there are so many institutions that claim to teach English within 2 to 3 months. Do you think that it is possible for those people who are just starting learning English?
I mean, even now as well, if I have to talk about myself, if I have to give my example, I don't feel very confident sometimes to share my opinion. And as I said, we can have good days and bad days. So to reach to that level, there's still a long time. And I believe that we need to be very confident, very comfortable. So it's all about the comfort level with the language. We know a lot of things, a lot of vocabulary. If you're not able to articulate it, not able to just weave it into a better sentence, then there is no point. So articulation is also one thing which is really important, and certain other aspects as well. So it depends. I mean, I cannot comment on how much time does it take, but I'm just taking my example. Even now, also, feel sometimes I'm not very confident and comfortable with the language.
Absolutely.
There sometimes can come inferiority complex, as you mentioned, when we are just interacting with someone superior, whether they are better from or not, we just can have that inferiority complex, and that's how we can lag while we are communicating with them. So it can happen with any one of us. So I think it's, according to me, I'm saying it's just a gradual process. We can see aggression with time. It doesn't happen like Rome wasn't built in just one day. So it just really take times to hone your skills, to get comfortable with the language. Even if you can mug a vocabulary, how to use it, how to express that vocabulary in a proper way, I think it takes time. Even
Absolutely, ma'am.
if I
Totally
learn,
agree.
yeah, 2 3 words today, I will be able to understand their usage gradually after listening people how they are using, after reading that sentence in a book, and after just hearing that. So it will take me some time. So I think we should all give us ourselves some time, not just 2 3 months. So we should all give ourselves some time. We will be able to be much better, like as in when we started, and after 2 months. So there will be a lot of improvement, but still we should give ourselves some time.
Absolutely. I have been working on this language. It's been almost 5 years. Even
Yeah.
though I make some mistakes, sometimes pronunciation mistakes, sometimes I am not able to articulate myself in front of people. So before I ask something more, let me narrate you my small story. Man. A couple of years back, I was a welder. I used to weld. I worked in Saudi Arabia as well as Dubai. So when I was in Dubai, I met with an accident. I was admitted to the hospital where I had to either speak English or Arabic. I knew none of them. So when I came back from there, I wanted to learn English, went to an institute. I was told to learn English within 3 months. After completing 3 months, I was
They
unable to
promised
communicate with
you,
anyone.
right?
Yeah, after completing 3 months, I was unable to communicate with anybody. Even I was not able to utter few sentences in English language. So I started blaming myself because the institute promised me to teach English within 3 months, but I was not able to speak. So I thought that there is something wrong in my brain. If English can be learned within 3 months, how was I not able to learn?
Yeah.
So when I started working on English language individually, separately, step by step, that's where I got to know no language has a time limit to learn.
Correct.
If you really want to work on a language, it takes your practice, dedication, motivation, hard work.
Consistency as well.
Yeah, consistency as well.
Yeah.
So So why people are spreading disclaimer in front of people that you come to me, you know it very well, ma'am. You know it very well, ma'am, that some students are from Hindi medium, some students are from English medium. Those who have completed their studies from English medium, they can learn English easily. But those who don't even know
Yeah.
basic things of English language, how will they be able to speak in English language within 2 to 3 months? This is completely a lie as per my perception. What do you think,
Absolutely.
ma'am?
Yeah, I think they can learn something within the span of 2 to 3 months, but they cannot I mean, they cannot be really well versed. Then what's the difference between who people who have just dedicated years to this language or honed their skills by reading different books, by understanding different literature? So there should be a hard work gap as well. That's what I think, and it takes time. They should also understand, and the people who are teaching, they should also understand. Like these days, people don't promise anything. They say that based on our modules and everything, if you will do it properly, definitely you will be able to do it. But if you're not doing it, that's when you won't be able to do it. So I think it depends. Like if you are working consistently, if you're trying to speak, like if when we try to speak, that's when we learn and understand things better. So if a person who is just have just started this language and they are just trying to speak every day, so they will learn something at the end of 2 months, and maybe they'll be able to learn more than expectations. So I mean I cannot really comment on that, but yeah, it totally depends on your consistency. They can learn good things as well. They can learn really they can be they can have this great ability to speak and present themselves in front of people, but it can like vice versa take time for other people as well. It's just
Yeah.
totally a
So
gradual process.
during 2 or 3 months of period, they can only learn some basic things: where to use is, mr, where to use do, does, where to use have, as. But they cannot be proficient speaker of English language.
Yeah, I mean, it will take some time because the more you will interact with people, that's when you will gain that confidence and comfort level. According to me, I think even if we have learned all the grammatical rules, all the, I mean, these articulation techniques or all vocabulary, like not all vocabulary, we cannot ever learn all vocabulary, that's very difficult. But since then, putting it into words, saying those sentences which are in our heart, whatever we want to say, it becomes difficult some of the time. And I think it takes time. Like it is not really easy. So I always say this thing that comfort level is really important. The comfort, the kind of comfort we have with our native language, it really takes time because this native language we have been taught since we were young, and this English language we have just tried learning, and when we try something when we have reached to a certain point of age, it is difficult for us because everything has time. I'm not saying that if somebody is learning that English language at 50 years of age then it's wrong, but when we just try to compare a kid and an a man, then the kid will have a better ability to just understand and learn that language faster as compared to that old person. So that's the difference,
Uh,
and it can always make a difference over there.
yeah, actually, ma'am, how did we learn our native language?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, our very first teacher is our mother, and then we listen and hear people, and we just understand it. And that's how I think gradually we learn our native language. We get proficient in the kind of words and sentences our family is using. Like if we say Hindi is our native language, we don't know much about Hindi as well. We just know what our family is using, and we get well versed
Yeah,
in it.
absolutely.
So there is a lot to learn in that language as well. We cannot master anything in just a few days.
So why did I ask this question, ma'am? Because this is related to my next question. Can a teacher take guarantee to make a student speak in English language?
No, definitely not. Until and unless the student is putting their complete effort and being very honest to themselves and also mapping their progress. It's really important because I want to improve myself, learn things myself. So I will be just taking taking an understanding that how was I yesterday and how I've changed today. So I have to map my progress and I will take my full responsibility. Nobody else will.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I always suggest my all of the students that listen, I am a trainer. I can guide you, support you, but I cannot make you speak in English language unless you put your all efforts,
Correct.
unless you show consistency. No teacher can teach you English. Language, I, language is something that somebody can guide you only. Somebody cannot make you speak in English language in any language. For example, in our childhood, when we were child, when we were on the verge of learning our native language, we were so excited. We were so excited. We kept speaking.
That's
We
the
didn't
playfulness
think.
of childhood. We don't think anything is difficult at that point of time. But
Yeah,
when we gain brains, that's when this element comes to our
absolutely. Yeah, we kept speaking. We didn't think whether my sentence is right or wrong, whether
mind.
my pronunciation is good or bad. We wanted to speak in English language, sorry, our native language.
Correct.
That is how we are supposed to work on English language. Right
Yeah,
now, I am speaking. Right now, I am speaking in front of you. It is obvious that somewhere I am making a mistake as well, but this is not my concern because I am on the verge of learning. I am trying to improvise myself. If I don't make a mistake, how will I get to know
correct.
about correction?
Yeah, that's the way.
So
That's the way it should be always. Like we should present ourselves really confidently and not think about mistakes. I mean, if we are confident, our mistakes can go unnoticed, and that's nowhere an issue. I mean, native speakers also make a lot of grammatical errors while they are speaking. So that's all. That's all about confidence. Confidence. I think it all just two ends meet at the word which is confidence.
yeah, even in our native language, when I speak in Hindi language, I make some mistakes. Grammatic, there are some grammatical errors, but nobody catches. But
Yeah.
in case of English language, if you make a slight mistake, people are ready to catch that. Oh my God, you are making this mistake. Oh my God, you are making that mistake. You are not supposed to speak like this. You are not supposed to speak like that. Why
Absolutely
does it happen? Language is language. This is our language. That is their language.
correct. I think this has become a situation of mockery in our country where people are not able to speak this language. They are being mocked and they are being judged on this as only, irrespective of the kind of skills they already have, but they will be judged on this thing. And I think that's something which is common here only. I don't think it's common anywhere else. But since it's a universal language, like most of the people can communicate in this language, it's always better to hone your skills in this. No, but nobody should be mocked because of their inability to communicate in this language. And I think if we will just try to motivate and just try to inspire people, that's when they will be able to do it on a faster pace. Like appreciation before everything. Like that's what people also quote, or Dale Carnegie has quoted in his book that appreciation before criticism. So it's important to appreciate people for whatever efforts they have already put on, so that they can just nurture themselves moving forward.
That- Ma'am, actually, we are running short of time. Let me
Correct.
ask you one thing. Whenever you meet somebody completely beginner, what do you suggest them?
I
Where to
think,
start? How to learn at initial stage?
yeah, I suggest them reading loudly. This is something which is going to help them to understand how the sentence is being articulated and to just improve their lexical resources to speak as much as they can. They will be able to speak as much as they can and just try to find out the words which they are coming across while reading loudly. So I think it's a starting point for them. So I always say that it will take some time, but yeah, this is a very good thing to just nurture your skill always. I think it's till now I just vouch by reading loudly. It really helps to just improve our lexical resources, get comfortable with the language. We can only get comfortable when we know that whatever we are going to say, it's forthcoming to people. They will be able to understand it and they'll be just able to derive a good meaning out of it. So I think I suggest reading loudly and speak as much as they can. Even they just know very few sentences, they should speak those sentences. So yeah, every day we can learn new aspects like if a person is making grammatical errors in preposition, so how to just make sentences out of it. We shouldn't just focus on grammatical rules. We should focus more on sentence framing at this point of age. Like at any age when we are adults, so we should focus on framing sentences, as many sentences as we can, and that's when we should explain them different parts of speeches attached to it. And what is really important is articulation. So explain them articulation with time wherever they are making mistakes.
So I have some students whom I make them understand. Listen,
Okay.
listen more, read more, don't run after grammar. It will never ever make you speak in English language. You will be confused while having a conversation with somebody. Which grammar am I supposed to use? I am supposed to use present indefinite, past
Correct.
indefinite, future indefinite. You will be confused because while talking to each other, we don't focus on grammatical rules. We only focus on content, what we are talking about. We only focus whether we are able to have conversation effectively or not. We are able to understand each other perfectly or not. That matters a lot.
Correct. I couldn't agree more. Grammar to me also it feels like that innumerable rules and everything, and we will feel ourselves. We will feel that we are lost somewhere, and we won't be able to just put complete efficiency over there. So I think just focus on sentence structure and understand by like from yourself, like is it correct based on your past experiences, reading and listening. So when we see people, we just try to imitate them as well, and that's not really bad if it is done in a positive and correct way. So imitation is a good technique. If you have heard someone saying a kind of vocabulary which you want to use, so just write it down. We have to put efforts. Even now, also we try to put efforts. Like if some kind of vocabulary is good, just write it down. Try to frame multiple sentences out of it so that we can get really confident in speaking that particular word. So I think it just will take time. Yeah,
Absolutely, things take time, man.
absolutely. And we should give ourselves some time. That's when I think we can improve properly. When we know that we
Absolutely,
have some time.
absolutely. So actually, ma'am, time is going to over.
Yeah, going to be over.
So yeah, it was really interactive conversation. I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
before you end the session, would you like to suggest me something or that can help my students?
you already have a good command over the language. I would like to suggest, even though you must already be doing it, just reading. So you can just try reading certain books, different books, and it will help you in expanding your ideas. You will be able to express yourself or in front of people in a better way. And I feel that when I read books, when I just try reading different genres, I just feel confident and comfortable with this language. Reading has made me really comfortable, and it's not about just reading loudly, and if we can just dedicate for 10 to 15 minutes to reading loudly, but apparently apart from that we should read, because it will open our mind, improve our knowledge, and when we have knowledge, when we have ideas, that's when we can articulate and put them into words and speak in front of people. So I just really swear by reading. It's really a great thing, and we should try reading different genres, like biographies, autobiographies. That's a good thing.
Yeah, actually, ma'am, whatever I'm speaking right now in front of you, credit goes to reading. But
Yeah,
what actually happens with me, I read books and teach completely basic English.
yeah.
I belong to a Muslim community. By the name, you might have understood. Okay, there is no culture of English language, the locality where I belong to.
Mhm.
So, what I what I do that I work on my advanced English, but I have to teach completely basic English. They
Okay.
don't even understand is, am, are, do, does, have, had. So I have to start from very basic. For example, I, you, we, they, he, she, just like that. That is my biggest hurdle. I am trying to overcome it, but I don't know how long will it take.
So how is it your hurdle? How is it your obstacle? It's not yours, right? I mean, that's what the situation you are in. And to What you can do is, when you are reading, so as to just fulfill your desire or temptation to teach advanced vocabulary. After reading that one paragraph, imagine that there's a hypothetical person in front of you, and how you are going to explain that content to that person. So it's always good, you will have that belief that whenever the time will come, I will be able to explain this, and you will have that confidence. So, reading books and then just putting it into words, explaining, interacting with people. How was that book, and what was really great about that book? Read classics. I mean, that's a great thing. I will be reading. I will starting to read some classics. There are some great like people who have